All right, so are you ready to dive into this AI battle? Grok 3 versus o3-mini, it's everywhere, right? You see the headlines, you hear the chatter. And now, well, you're here for the deep dive. It feels like AI is just sprinting ahead, so we're cutting through all the noise, all the hype, to give you the facts. By the end, you'll be able to hold your own in any AI debate. Trust me, this stuff is interesting. Grok 3, actually has a sense of humor. We'll get to that, but first.
It's fascinating, isn't it? This whole AI thing is moving so fast.
Yeah, it is, and we're going way past just the headlines today, right? We're going to figure out how these models work, how they stack up against each other, and what they mean, really, for the future.
Pretty much the future of everything, yeah.
Think of it like your AI cheat sheet, You'll be totally prepped. Okay, so first up, let's meet the contenders. Grok 3 from Elon Musk's XAI. It's the third version of this model. They've been working on it, and it's supposed to be helpful, safe, and maybe a little sassy, they say.
Well, and you can really see SAI's whole mission in Grok, right? They want to make AI align with human values. So it's not just about processing power. It's about how the AI interacts with us, how it understands the world.
Right, right. Okay, and in the other quarter, we've got o3-mini from OpenAI. They're the folks behind some seriously powerful and user-friendly tools. They've been major players in this for a while now, and o3-mini, it's their latest, their greatest.
And OpenAI is really focused on making this advanced tech accessible, getting it into everyone's hands. I mean, they've been huge in bringing AI into everyday life. O3-mini seems to be going even further with that.
Okay, so let's get into the comparison, right? Our source article, it mentions speed and skill, but they use words like probably and usually when they're comparing them. I don't know about you, but probably just doesn't cut it for me when we're talking about AI that could change everything.
Yeah, it is a bit vague, isn't it? But honestly, comparing these models, it's tough. There isn't like a single benchmark that tells the whole story. What's amazing in one area might not be so great in another. It's all relative.
So how do we actually make sense of these vague comparisons? What are they really telling us about Grok and o3-mini?
Well, we have to dig a bit deeper, right? Look at the underlying stuff that actually drives performance. One of the key things to understand is the context window. Imagine like reading a book. The context window is like how many pages the AI can keep in mind at once. So bigger window, the AI can think about more information, understand those complex relationships and give you a more nuanced response.
Okay, that makes sense. It's the difference between skimming and really absorbing a whole chapter. And if we look at this table, Grok 3, wow, it seems to have a much larger context window than o3-mini. It's got a big brain mode.
Exactly. That means it could be capable of some seriously impressive reasoning, like summarizing massive documents, research, even writing stuff with crazy plots.
So Grok, it's got the bigger brain, but what about like real performance? Sources say it's amazing at tackling difficult tasks. But what does difficult even mean in the AI world?
Well, think about what's difficult for us. Writing a poem, a complex math problem, understanding philosophy. Those have traditionally been really tough for AI, too. Difficult basically means tasks that need abstract thinking, common sense, a deep understanding of language and how we humans use it, all that nuance.
So if Grok 3 is really good at those difficult tasks, that's a big deal. It's almost like it's not just crunching numbers anymore. It's creative. It's intellectual.
It is raising some really interesting questions, isn't it, about what AI can do, how close we are to creating machines that think like us.
And speaking of thinking like humans, Grok's sense of humor, the article says it's quirky. Wait, is AI actually cracking jokes now?
It's definitely a curious development. I mean, is it really humor? That's debatable. But the fact that it can create responses that we find funny, that's pretty interesting.
It does make you wonder, are we seeing a digital personality emerge?
It definitely brings up questions about what intelligence is, what consciousness is, and where that line is between machines and us.
Okay, let's shift gears to o3-mini. They call it the smooth talker and the code whisperer. It's supposed to be amazing at dialogue, writing, and coding, like the ultimate digital assistant, right?
Right. It seems to excel at stuff that's directly related to how we communicate and say it. It's designed to be versatile, helping us with a whole range of tasks.
So while Grok 3 is winning at the deep thinking stuff, o3-mini is all about practical applications, helping us get stuff done.
That seems to be the case. It's a good reminder that developing AI isn't just about pushing the limits of what's possible. It's about creating tools people can actually use.
It's like the difference between a physicist, right, exploring the universe, and an engineer who's actually building a bridge.
Yeah, a good analogy. Both are important, but they have different purposes. Absolutely.
And both Grok 3 and o3-mini are showing us the amazing advancements in AI, each with its own strengths, its own impact. But even the best AI has weaknesses, right? Every champion has their Achilles heel. Let's unpack that next.
Welcome back. Now it's time to see, how these AI contenders actually perform.
Right, enough theory, let's get practical. We've got some hard data to work with here. Our sources mentioned those AME 2025 benchmarks. And those results, Pretty interesting.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, AMI is artificial intelligence measurement and evaluation. It's basically the Olympics for AI. All the top models go head to head in a bunch of tests, like a decathlon, but for AR. You've got reasoning, language, even creative problem-solving events.
So who won the gold?
Well, both did really well, both Grok 3 and o3-mini. But there are some key differences, in what they're good at, what they're not as good at.
Okay, let's break it down. We've got a table here from the source article with some of the key AMI results. What stands out to you?
The reasoning category. Both Grok 3, their beta and mini versions, and o3-mini did incredibly well.
Yeah, not too surprising, right, given what we've already talked about. But there's something more to it, isn't there?
Right, they both excelled, yeah. But Grok 3, especially that beta version, it actually outperformed o3-mini here.
Interesting. So in terms of just raw logic, Grok 3 might have the edge.
Seems like it. That advantage in reasoning could be huge, for tasks that need serious problem solving, strategic thinking, or analyzing tons of data.
It's like they're both grandmaster chess players, but Grok can see a few moves further ahead.
Exactly, exactly. And the table also highlights another area where Grok 3 shines: image generation and analysis.
Okay, and what's so important about that?
Well, this is where things get really cool, I think. Being able to understand images, to work with them, that's a massive step towards AI that can interact with the world like we do.
It's like giving AI the ability to see, right? Not just see, but actually understand. What kind of real-world stuff could we do with that?
Oh, the possibilities are huge. Think about Grok 3 creating amazing visuals for ads, generating 3D models for designing new products, even analyzing medical images for, faster, more accurate diagnoses.
Wow, it's like a digital artist and a super smart analyst, all in one. Our sources also mentioned Grok 3 lets you upload files, which o3-mini doesn't do right now. How big of a deal is that?
That's a game changer, seriously. It means you can bring your own data to the party, like a research paper, a spreadsheet, even your photo albums. Grok 3 can analyze all of that, and give you insights that are specific to what you need.
So it's not just using the data it's already been trained on. It can actually learn from your stuff and personalize the results. That's powerful.
Incredibly powerful. It opens up so many personalized applications, customized learning, super targeted business analytics.
Okay, so Grok 3 seems to be winning in these specific categories. But o3-mini is still a contender, right? Even if it didn't get gold and everything, it's got its own strengths.
Absolutely. One thing that really stands out is thinking mode. It makes the interaction between you and the AI much more collaborative.
Now, we talked about how comparing AI is tricky, but thinking mode sounds pretty self-explanatory. Isn't all AI thinking?
Yeah, you'd think so, right? But think of it like this. In thinking mode, you're not just giving the AI a command and waiting. You're having a conversation, going back and forth. You clarify what you want, give feedback, guide its thinking process.
So it's more like brainstorming with a colleague, less like ordering a computer around.
Exactly. And that kind of interaction, it's really valuable for creative work, problem solving, even just learning about a new topic.
And our sources also point out how easy o3-mini is to use, how accessible it is. We mentioned that earlier, but it's worth repeating.
Yeah, it's a core part of OpenAI's whole approach. They want to make these tools for everyone, not just the tech experts. o3-mini's interface, it's intuitive, and their subscription model is clear. It shows they're serious about that commitment.
Like, one is a high-end sports car, only a pro can drive it, and the other is like a user-friendly electric car. Anyone can jump in and go.
Great analogy. And it shows how important it is to think about more than just the power of the AI, right? How usable it is, how accessible it is, all of that matters.
Okay, we've been talking about benchmarks, the technical side of things, but what does all this actually mean in the real world? How can Grok 3 and o3-mini actually be used to, I don't know, solve problems, make our lives better?
That's the exciting part. The possibilities are just vast. So many different industries, so many different ways it could impact our lives.
Let's get specific. How could Grok 3, with its reasoning power, its image processing, be used in scientific research, for example?
Imagine a researcher using Grok 3 to analyze mountains of data, maybe looking for patterns in climate change data or trying to find new drug candidates for diseases. Grok 3's ability to process all that information, to make those connections, it could really speed up discoveries.
It's like a superpowered research assistant working nonstop alongside scientists. What about o3-mini? With its communication skills, its accessibility, how could it be used in education?
Oh, I can see teachers using it to create custom learning plans for each student, tailoring the material to how they learn best. O3-mini could also make learning much more interactive, engaging kids in dialogues, giving instant feedback.
It's like a personal tutor for every student available 24/7 to help them learn.
Exactly. And think about the creative possibilities. Musicians working with O3-mini to write new songs, generate lyrics, writers using the Rough 3 to, I don't know, brainstorm plot twists or develop characters.
It's mind-blowing to think about AI helping us be even more creative, right? Pushing the boundaries of art, music, storytelling.
Like a digital muse, sparking inspiration, helping us bring our ideas to life.
So it really seems like both Grok 3 and o3-mini have the potential to revolutionize so many fields. But the question is, how do we do this responsibly? What about the ethics of all this? That's what we'll explore in the final round. All right, final round of our Grok 3 versus o3-mini deep dive. We've seen their strengths, seen their weaknesses, even imagined all the amazing things they could do. But there's a big question hanging over all of this, isn't there?
Yeah, we can't just ignore it, the AI in the server, right? As AI gets more powerful, as it gets woven into our lives, we have to think about the consequences.
We've been talking about AI writing music, stories, helping scientists make discoveries. But what about the potential downsides? Our sources, they do mention some concerns, especially with the information these models create.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Remember, these models learn from massive amounts of data made by humans. And that data, well, it reflects all of us, our biases, our disagreements, our mistakes even. All the good and bad.
It's like, imagine teaching a kid using a library full of books, but some of those books, outdated, biased, maybe even flat out wrong. The kid learns from it all.
Exactly. AI models, they learn the same way. They pick up patterns, copy styles, they even reproduce those biases in the data.
So an AI could write something that sounds totally believable, even human, but it could be full of stereotypes, fake facts, even outright lies.
It's a real problem, and the more advanced these models get, the harder it is to tell what's real, what's made by a human, what's made by AI.
It's like that classic question, right? If you're talking to someone online, how do you know it's actually a person and not some super smart chatbot?
Yeah, it's getting tough, and that leads to a basic question of trust. How do we know the information we get from AI is accurate, that it's unbiased, that we can rely on it?
It's almost like we're in this world where the lines between truth and lies are blurred. We need, like, a new kind of literacy, right? A way to figure out what's what, no matter where it comes from.
Totally. We got to be smart about the information we consume in this age of AI, right? Question what we assume, look at the source, and be careful about stuff that just confirms what we already believe.
It's like being a detective, sifting through digital clues. We've got to check the evidence, spot the inconsistencies, and get different perspectives.
Great analogy. It shows how important critical thinking is now. We can't just passively take in information anymore. We got to engage with it, challenge it, double check it.
So, yeah, AI has this amazing potential, but we need that healthy skepticism, that commitment to finding the truth.
Couldn't agree more. It's a balancing act for sure. Embrace the power of AI, but also be aware of the limits, the potential risks.
This might sound kind of heavy, but I'm optimistic.
Me too. The key is to talk about these things, be aware of the challenges, and work together to find solutions.
Think about it. Any powerful tool, fire, electricity, the internet, there are risks, right? But if we use them carefully, the benefits outweigh the dangers.
Absolutely. And in the end, it comes down to us, right? Humans. We're the ones who design this stuff, build it, decide how to use it.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Grok 3 and o3-mini, here's something to think about. The future of AI, it's not set in stone. We're building that future right now. With every choice we make, every line of code we write, every conversation we have about the role of AI in our lives.
Let's make it a future where AI helps humanity, helps us understand the world better, create a better future for everyone.
A future worth fighting for. And that's our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us. Hope you learned something new, had some of those ha-ha moments, and that you'll keep exploring this amazing world of AI with, a critical eye.
Stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged. We'll see you next time.